Well, I'm Laraine Herring, and I have a master's degree in creative writing as well as in counseling psychology. And I direct the creative writing program up here in Prescott at Yavapai College. And I also do national retreats at places like the Kripalu Center and the Omega Institute, and I'm an author of 7 books. I remember the moment when those marks on that paper with the blue lines and the dots became a whole living being. They became, it was like, it wasn't just a mark, it was a word, which then meant something, which then had this whole ability to take me someplace else. And I remember feeling it like in my belly. It was like, this is amazing, like people can do this. And now I can do this, and I want to be able to do it forever. It was like forever. This is my forever thing. So my dad was sick my whole life. He'd had polio as a child, and then he had a heart attack when I was 7. And he pretty much went downhill most of my childhood. And so our house was always, I mean, it wasn't this horrible house, but our house always had this idea of the possibility for something really bad to happen with him. And I think as I was a quiet kid, and I think I really internalized a lot of that. When's this going to happen? How's this going to happen? And writing was stable for me. It was, you know, as long as I was here, I could have my writing, and it wasn't dependent on what anybody else was doing. And so, so especially during my teenage years, I think it really became like my best friend. You know, it was like a constant companion, because it helped me feel stability when I was so unsure about what was going to happen. Writers are really conjurers, and we're bringing out this amazing other world to other people who then have not only your experience with that story, but they have their own experience. So nobody, you know, reads the same book. And if that's not magic, I don't know, you know, kind of what is. And so all of my novels have some element of magical realism in them. I think it's just a much more balanced way to see the world than, you know, I think there's more than we can understand and more than we can see. So why not put it in a, you know, in a story as well? And then of course, the heart of story is transformation. And so I think that, you know, people are always, you know, just as we live our lives, learning how to let go. We're always like learning how to move into the next phase, the next thing. And whether it doesn't have to be a death, but we're always in motion. So we're always in this transformative place. So in my late 20s and early 30s, I was in a job that I was not happy in, and I also was, I had high blood pressure, I weighed too much, I was just not happy, and I sort of stumbled into this yoga class for something to do, and I expected to hate it, because I'm not an athlete, and I kind of thought that was a world for other people whose bodies did other bendy kind of things that mine does not do. And it happened to be, fortunately, a gentle class, and I was able to, maybe for the first time, really move into my body, even if it was just for a second. It was like, oh, there's all this. It's not just a bunch of skin and bones that's carrying my brain around so I can write stuff, right? It's this whole thing that needs to be paid attention to. And I think that first awakening with understanding that you need to pay attention to the physical form. Writing is a physical act, you know, whether you're typing or writing, it is an action. And kind of from there, I felt my work really open up, which was not expected. And it has helped me so much move from a head-based writer to a heart and a belly-based writer, like bringing it up from wherever that source is. It's not coming out of all this crazy brain, it's coming up from something deeper than me, and yoga has been very helpful with that. The Fierce Monkey Tribe is also about joy and about finding that love connection with your work as a writer. So there was a little stuffed monkey that came into our lives at the boardwalk over in California, maybe 7 or 8 years ago now. And for whatever reason, I began to play puppets with this monkey. And I soon started to take this monkey to my retreats when I would go like to Kripalu, and people would just want to hold and hug this monkey. I mean, he's really, really cute monkey. And they would want to hold this monkey. And also when their work would reach some powerful place and maybe they would feel some emotion, holding the monkey would actually kind of help them. You know, I mean, these are grown-ups, lawyers, doctors, teachers, grown-up people who don't play with monkeys, and having really watching that over many years in workshops, I thought, wow, this sense of play and this sense of lightness is really important, an important element as well to the writing process. And so when I was looking for a way to be able to reach people outside of an academic setting, I wanted to build my own business and my own way to do that. It was natural to think about monkeys and like, how can I bring in some of these elements that are, and then there's that monkey on a typewriter. Monkeys are pretty ferocious and fierce, and they're, they can do a lot of damage. They do a lot of good, a lot of pretty awesome stuff. And so I wanted to find a way to bring their energy into my work with writers. Maybe a monkey, and certainly some movement and some breathing exercises. And my workshops are focused on the writer and the writing. So building and cultivating that relationship between the writer and his or her work is of profound importance to me. I feel like when that is in place, the product or any outcome that you might want comes more naturally out of that. You can't expect to meet somebody for the first time in 100 years and think you're going to be able to pick right up most of the time. You need to have some constant connection with the things that matter to you. And if writing matters to someone, they need to meet it, and set up a life in which they can meet it at a way that feels right for them. And so we do a lot of work focusing on that. And then we do some dancing, often to Prince. Writing matters. Your work matters. If writing is something that is in you to do and in you to practice, it's something that's going to help you be a better person, regardless of whether you get a published work or on the New York Times bestseller list. The talents that we have are tools to help us live more deeply and live more fully. So don't let anybody tell you that nobody's reading, that it doesn't matter, that writing is a soft thing to do, something that doesn't have value. Writing is a fierce thing to do. There's a reason they imprison writers and poets in other places, because what we do matters. Don't ever forget that what we do matters.